Hello everyone, this is Kelly and I'd like to welcome you back to the Honeybee Stamps blog and our YouTube channel. Today I am sharing a very special mini release coming out on May 27th and it is called Rainbow Dreams. I'm starting out with our rainbow sentiment set and it's called Look for the Rainbow. It has a rainbow scripty word there along with many great sub-sentiments. Now these will great with your rainbow cards but also on lots of other cards as well. So let's dive right into some of these sentiments. Sorry you're here, that you're under the weather. You make me happy when skies are gray. Rainbow hugs or a rainbow kind of day. You make the world more colorful. Every cloud has a silver lining. You are my sunshine. We have to endure the rain. You brighten my day. Rainbow kisses and birthday wishes and many more, as I mentioned before. Now there is a die set that goes along with the sentiment set. It cuts out that large rainbow scripty word and then all of those great sub-sentiments. Next is a brand new cover plate, and this is called the Rainbow Pierced cover plate. You can see that great pierced design that is going to press into your cardstock. Now there are no cut lines around the edges, so you can stretch the use of this die onto larger cards. Let's say 5x7. You can also use this on the flaps of your envelope. Here's a close-up look at that beautiful design. It's going to create a beautiful background for your cards. Next, we have the Rainbow Dreams stamp set. I love this stamp set for creating stamped rainbows onto my cardstock. There's many different little patterns there that are going to be the arches of your rainbow. There are some sentiments in this set along with clouds and stars and hearts. There's a coordinating die set that's going to cut out all of those little pieces so you can just create the most beautiful and colorful rainbow. This die set is the Rainbow Accents die set. It's going to cut out all of the strips of paper to make your rainbow. You can see there in the middle and at the bottom. And then there are designs that you can layer your cardstock on top of those bows or the arches for your rainbow. Now there's also the Rainbow Foil Plate set. It's going to foil beautiful rainbow, the clouds, a sunshine, the sunshine with the rays. There's that rainbow scripty word again that perfectly matches up with the coordinating die from the Look for the Rainbow coordinating die set. So lots of great fun here where you can make shiny, sparkly, glimmery rainbows. And then let's move on to this awesome A2 Rainbow Card Builder die set. So I love this to make a rainbow shaped card. You can see where you can cut out the shape of your card, and then there's some little accent dies here. There's the clouds, the sunshine, there's the sunshine with the rays, and some hearts. Next we have two new stencils to add to our Honeybee Stamps stencil collection. This is the Geo Trellis stencil. And then we have the Good Vibes layering stencils. So there's two different stencils in that set. So let's take a close-up look at both of those stencils. You can see here I've used the Geo Trellis stencil and created a wonderful blue and green background. It's just a great geometric. And this is that layering Good Vibes stencil set. So I've used one stencil to create the rainbow design, and then the other stencil in that set to add glimmer paste in between those rainbow lines to create a really fun background. Next up is our bright and cheerful Rainbow Birthday paper fad. So as I open this up, we'll look at all the wonderful designs. So we have a rainbow geometric, a plaid on the back. There's two pieces of each pattern in this cardstock and it's double-sided as you can see. There's tone on tone with pinks and florals. There's that Good Vibes rainbow paper with a tone on tone plaid in the back. There's a kind of watercolor design and dots. There's a fun striped rainbow pattern. There's yellow tone on tone design. There's a yellow watercolor or maybe alcohol ink design. There's green with ivy and then green with things that look like little leaves on the back. There's a fun confetti that's perfect for your birthday cards. There's blue with little dashes. They almost look like little raindrops. There's blue with little squiggly lines on the back. There's the great geo trellis design with stripes on the back. There's navy stripes and navy designs. And then we get all back to the end there. And now let's take a look at the coordinating envelopes. So this is the rainbow birthday envelopes. Each of the envelopes have a pattern on the outside and then a different one on the inside. They're all self-adhesive, so all you have to do is peel back that little adhesive strip to reveal the adhesive underneath, and then so you can just stick that right down and it's going to stay nice and closed for all those cards that go inside. But you can see there is a little bit of everything, and it goes perfectly with that birthday rainbow paper pad. And we're going to get right through all of these beautiful colors and patterns and designs. So perfect for all types of cards and celebrations. Okay, so let's create a card with some of today's new products. I'm going to use that rainbow birthday paper pad, the Look for the Rainbow sentiment set and the coordinating dies, along with the rainbow accents and the rainbow A2 card base, the foil plates, and then I have some cardstock here that we're going to add in as well. That's the Tonic Gold Glitter cardstock. Now the first thing that I am going to do is get all of my die cuts ready to go. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to make a rainbow shaped card, and you can see that there to the far right. I'm just going to stick my dies back down onto the fabulous backers there. Now our new little backer pieces that you can see for our dies, they have the outline of the dies. You can see the little sunshine down there. So you know exactly where your dies go back onto that backer. I think that's fabulous, so I'm not worried about trying to fit everything back in exactly where it went. So I really like that added touch there. And then I'm going to use the pattern paper, some white cardstock, that dark teal cardstock, to cut out those rainbow accents. So that's going to go onto the rainbow card base. So some of them I'm going to do in white. And then others, I'm going to use some of that fabulous pattern paper to do for the colorful pieces, as you can see there. Now that I have all my die cuts done, and you can see those up to the top of the screen, I'm going to start gluing on all of the little pieces and the accessories and those little accents that go together. So the little string of hearts or little leaves there are going to be glued onto the largest piece or the largest arch. And then there's a scalloped accent that I'm gluing on, and I'm trying out the Barely Art glue. Now Honeybee Stamps does carry this glue in a couple of different sizes, and then has the little tips and things that go with you or go with it. And I wanted to try this out because this little rainbow, as you can see here, has some fine little die cuts there. So I wanted to make sure that I could use that fine little needle tip or the needle top to that glue to not make a mess with my glue. Now for the sunshine, and because this is glitter paper and sometimes it's hard to get things to stick down to glitter paper, I'm using two different adhesives. I'm using a tape runner and then liquid glue, and so I want to make sure that that pattern paper and then my glitter paper stays exactly where I want it to go. Now I'm ready to start gluing all of those little die cut accents onto that A2 rainbow card base. So I'm going to start out with the largest arch, and then I'm just going to work my way down, applying just a tiny little bead of glue, and then working my way down with all of my pattern paper and my little rainbow accents. One thing that I found that was super helpful was to use my Honeybee Stamps die pick. I could kind of slide those little pieces into place, clean up any glue messes that kind of maybe have seeped out from behind the cardstock, and then I'm ready to move on and go ahead with the next layer of rainbow goodness there. Now I'm just working my way down to the bottom half of that rainbow and adhering all of those smaller arches. I'm going to get the last one on here, and then I'm going to press everything into place to make sure that that liquid adhesive has done its job and everything is stuck down really well before I move on. So the next thing I'm doing is using some of those little accent dies. So I have the clouds here, and I'm going to cut the clouds out of both some pink pattern paper and white craft foam. And so I'm going to adhere those together, and I'm going to have the white kind of offset back there. So I have a little border of white along the top, as you can see there. So that's really going to help that pink pattern paper stand out. And also it's going to add dimension for those clouds on the front of my rainbow card base. So I'm kind of deciding where I want to glue those down. And now I can kind of adhere my sunshine as well. So I'm going to add a little bit of that liquid adhesive just to one little portion of that sunshine. And I'm going to adhere that right onto the top of my card base there. And I'm really going to press that into the paper and get that liquid adhesive time to really get attached to all of that pattern paper and colored cardstock. Next, I just need to adhere my little pink and fun foamed clouds. You can see that this cute little rainbow card base is all coming together now. Okay, so it's ready to do some fun and shimmery foiling. And I love that this foil set also kind of goes with the Look for the Rainbow sentiment set. I love that the die for the foil rainbow is going to cut out both the stamp in that stamp set and then the foil piece as well. So I have my Glimmer hot foil machine turned on here. You can see the red light and that platform is getting warmed up. I am using hammer mill cardstock and some Aura Gold foil from Spellbinders. I'm going to trim that down to fit that rainbow word. So that way I don't waste too much foil here. I can kind of set that little piece aside and do a little heart or some stars or something later. I just add all my foil into a little container to use at another time. But I'm letting all of that get ready to go. Now when that platform is all warmed up, we're going to see a green light pop on there to the far left. And so you can see the green light is all ready to go. So I'm going to lay down my rainbow scripty word and then the foil. So I want to lay the foil pretty side touching the pretty side of the foil plate. I'm adding my hammer mill paper and then I used both of the pieces, the shim and the little cover. Press the button and when that button goes solid or the light goes solid, it's ready to go. And I'm going to gently roll this through my Spellbinders die machine. I'm going really smooth. You can see my hand is kept there to keep all the plates and everything where they're supposed to be so we don't get any double foiling. You can see the rainbow word is pressed into the paper and I pull it back. You can see I have a tiny bit of overfoil there. That is no big deal. It doesn't bother me at all because I'm going to show you how to fix it. You just take a sand eraser and lightly go over that area. And because that foil plate presses into the paper, you can even lightly go over the places where the rainbow word is spelled out and it's not going to harm your foil. Just do it lightly and you'll be good to go. So that's how you clean up the little messes that you might get with your beautiful foil. I'm going to use the coordinating die and I'm going to pull this paper closer to me so I can really get over the top of it and look at it. But I'm going to use some purple or Easy C tape here to go over the top of that to hold that die into place. I trim that cardstock down and I'm going to run this through my cute little bitty buzz cutter here. Snap up the platform and it's ready to move to the side of my desk. I can kind of punch out with my fingers the little pieces of the rainbow in with the R and the B, and then you can see how pretty that's going to stand out on top of my rainbow card base. Now I want to pick a little sub-sentiment to go with that. So for the outside of the card, to go with that really glimmery, shimmery rainbow, I'm going to pick a sub-sentiment from this Rainbow Dreams stamp set. And there's a lot of cute little sentiments in this, and I am going to stamp Love You. I'm just going to pull out my Misty with a little bit of scrap paper that I have. That just happens to be the same hammer mill paper that I foiled that sentiment on, so no need to waste that pretty white cardstock. I'm going to stamp that with VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and then while that ink is damp, I'm going to use some clear embossing powder over the top of that black ink. And that's going to do two things. It's going to trap the ink so I don't smear it, but it's also going to make a really nice glossy and raised sentiment. So once I get that heat set, I just want to set that aside and let that embossing powder really dry and set up, because you can still smear it if you die cut it or do anything like that too soon. I clean up my MISTI, and then I'm going to use the Look for the Rainbow sentiment set to add a sentiment to the inside of my card. And I've chosen You Make the World More Colorful. So the outside of the card will say Love You Rainbow, and then You Make the World More Colorful. I'm just going to use the same black ink, but instead of using embossing powder over the top of this, I'm going to use my heat tool and just lightly kind of dry that inside sentiment so I can start working on the rest of my card. Once that's all ready to go, my Love You sentiment is all ready, and I'm just going to use my trimmer and cut things out. And this is another way I love to use my die pick. So if you have little sentiments like this that you want to trim out with your trimmer, I use the pointy side of my die pick and I kind of shimmy things around until I get it just the way I want it. I can hold my fingers on the left side of that guide and then press the paper down. It holds it into place, and then I can trim it exactly where I want to. So that little die pick is just invaluable. I use it for lots of different things as I'm crafting. I'm adding some thin foam strips to the back of the rainbow sentiment, and I've also glued that little Love You right there to the top, so it's going to connect to the B and to the back of the R as well. I can add that whole sentiment onto the front of my card, and then this really is all good to go. I've chosen a beautiful rainbow that matches that rainbow birthday paper pad. You can see how this is going to fit perfectly right down inside of an A2 size envelope, and this is going to be a bright and fun card to give someone special. Now let's take an up close look at the finished card. You can see all the great pattern paper here now in this close-up picture. Just love all the paper mixed with all the rainbow dyes and sentiments. It's so fun to put together. Make sure you join us this week for lots of inspiration from our design team members, and then this special release will be out on May 27th. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.